this is the 5th report we've done, and I think the interesting thing about this report is that there are some very specific areas that are different to other reports. We've got to accept that things like social networking, things like cloud computing, things like mobility are here to stay, and we have to find ways of actually addressing those. And security, to some extent, is always playing catch-up. And one of the things we ought to be doing as a profession is trying to work out where the next bit of new technology is coming down.
For us, this will become one of many data points that will build our baselines across the board as we look at a number of aspects that are important to the NIST initiative.
I'm also concerned over the fact that the Infocom security professionals have indicated that it is necessary for additional training from traditional security skills. Now, I do not see, as a principle, a big difference between cloud services and the traditional computing services.
I teach at a university and I have students studying information assurance, computer security, cybersecurity, or what you would, and they are prepared. The question is, are people going to be prepared to have enough of them to actually accomplish the mission?
I think social media at the moment is a bit of an unknown to IT people. And the business hasn't articulated the requirements in terms of how they're going to use social media. And certainly IT at the moment are demonstrating they actually haven't got any direction from the business in terms of how to control it, whether to block it or not to block it, or even to apply some sensible IT security policies to social media.
I suppose a couple of the conclusions were interesting. From a concern point of view, I suppose our understanding of cloud computing and how uncomfortable we are with things like cloud computing and social networking. The industry themselves, or the professionals, they don't see themselves well geared up to deal with the threats that these things pose. Not that none of the threats, the opportunities as well that they pose. So they see a big skill gaps in where they are now and where they need to be to deal with these. And that was one of the big concerns for me.
How do you ensure that we don't introduce risks when you bring together the elements of consumerization? That means any device, any access, which we're seeing more and more into companies, social networks, and the mobility aspect. Mobility meaning any time, any place, anywhere.
The bit about application security is quite interesting because it's the first time we've asked questions about application security. And to some extent that's always been the poor relation of information security. But it's clear from the survey that I think it was something like 20% of people were putting that as one of their top issues. And it's showing that information security professionals are really getting into application security and realizing that as the attacks move up the ISO stack, that people are attacking at the application level. So getting secure software and secure applications is absolutely key.
In Asia, we have seen a 20% year-to-year growth in terms of internet adoption among Asian users. And I think this reinforces the point of the importance of Infocom security professionals in Asia.
As an industry, we have to continue to grow. We have to become and maintain being a learning industry. And that's some way off in my view. We're still a way to go, but I do think we can get there. It's just going to be a bit of hard work and tenacity.